Hello students, how are you all? I hope you all are fine. This is your science lecture of grade 5th, and I am your science teacher Aparna Pandey from Arjun Progressive School, Lamachur. So student, as you all know that today we are going to discuss our chapter number 7. And its name is Air and Water Essentials for Life. This chapter we have already started in our previous video, and the most part of this chapter is already covered. The topics that we have discussed in previous videos are: what is atmosphere, what is air, the types of layers present in atmosphere. Then we have discussed there that why air is essential for breathing and what is the composition of air. These all things we have discussed in our previous video. So students, now it's time to start today's class, and in today's class the first topic that we are going to discuss is oxygen helps in burning. The topic that we are going to discuss in today's class is oxygen helps in burning. So beta, as it is saying oxygen helps in burning means whenever we need a fire or whenever we want to burn something, then it's necessary condition that we need oxygen. This is a necessary condition that we need oxygen. Without oxygen, burning is not possible. So let's see what is given in your book. Burning needs oxygen. Burning, which is also called the combustion, it needs oxygen. Nothing can burn without oxygen. This I have also told you that nothing can burn without oxygen. This can be easily seen by performing an experiment. And this, that burning is not possible without oxygen. As I am saying to you that oxygen helps in burning, and I told you this also that burning without oxygen, burning is not possible. Means whenever we have to burn something, whenever we need fire, then oxygen must be there. Without oxygen, burning is or combustion is not possible. This I told you. So why should we believe in the things if we cannot see them? So student, for showing you this, yes, burning is possible only in the case when oxygen is there, and if we cut the oxygen, then burning will stop. For this I am going to show you an experiment. So it's time to see the experiment. Kindly focus in the given experiment.
So students, here we are going to conduct an activity which will show us that yes, oxygen is required for burning. So let's start. Here you can see that I have taken candle. This candle is burning. So what you have to do, that you have to take two candles and light them. Then cover one candle with a big glass. The glass should not touch the flame. After some time you will observe that the flame of the candle which is covered with the glass goes off. The other candle continues burning. So now question arises here that why the one candle is burning but the other which is covered by the glass that has stopped burning. So beta, the candle in the glass stops burning because there is no oxygen left in it. As we have covered the glass with the candle, so the oxygen supply from outside inside the glass stops and no oxygen is left in it. The other candle which is kept open, it is in the complete touch with oxygen, and that's why it continues burning. But the second, which is covered by the glass, as oxygen is cut, so the candle has also stops burning. This shows that oxygen is necessary for burning. Now, as we have seen in the experiment, when there is a supply of oxygen, it burns continuously. As oxygen is cut, burning stops.
So students, I hope after going through this experiment now you all are getting that yes, oxygen helps in burning. Now let's move to the next topic, and the next topic that we are going to discuss is a part of air is used in burning. What I am saying, a part of air, a part of air is used in burning. A part of air is used in burning. What do you mean by this? Means whenever we need to burn something, then oxygen is required, and when that burning takes place, so that burning takes the oxygen of that area. That burning takes the air of that area so that it can burn. So that's why we are saying a part of air is used in burning. So let's see what is given in your book. Air contains mainly oxygen and nitrogen. You all know this, that air contains mainly oxygen and nitrogen, and oxygen is the active gas that is required for burning. Oxygen is a gas which supports burning, right? So oxygen helps in burning. It is called active part of the air. That's why we also called oxygen as active part of the air. On the other hand, nitrogen does not help in burning. On the other hand, nitrogen does not help in burning. It is called inactive part of the air, and nitrogen is called inactive part of the air. Now, as I said that oxygen helps in burning, it is called as an active part of the air. So, for this also students, I am going to show you experiment. We are going to see experiment here, and with the help of an experiment, we will try to understand that how the part of air is used in the burning. As I have told you, it is required. We have seen in a theoretical manner that oxygen is an active part of air. It is required for burning. It plays an important role in burning. Without oxygen, we cannot burn. These all things we have discussed. So now with this experiment, we will see that how air is utilized, how air is used in the burning. So let's see the given experiment.
Now students, we are going to conduct another activity. In this activity we have to take two containers. One should be a trog. Trog means the container in which we can store a sufficient amount of water, and another thing that we need for an activity is a type of a glass or a jar which can cover a candle. Okay, as you can see here it is written glass jar. So we need these three things. We need a container in which we will store water, we need a candle, and we need another beaker, jar or a glass through which we are going to cover the burning candle. Now what we have to do in this experiment students, that you have to fill a water in a container. As you can see there is water, and you have to notice that water which is in the container as well as the level of water inside the jar or a glass which has covered candle, the level of water should be same. Means जिसमें हमने water लिया है और जिसको हमने कैंडल से ढका है, उन दोनों के अंदर वाटर का लेवल सेम होना चाहिए. Now what will happen students, then you have to fix a candle in the center and light it. Now you have lightened up the candle, so what you have to do now, you have to cover the jar fast again. क्या किया था आपने, पहले आपने जार को ओपन करके कैंडल को जलाया, उसको लाइटन अप करा. उसके बाद आपने जैसे ही कैंडल जलाई, फटाक से हम क्या करेंगे, उस कैंडल को कवर कर देंगे जार से. सो व्हाट यू विल ऑब्जर्व देन स्टूडेंट्स, दैट आफ्टर अ फ्यू मिनट्स द फ्लेम ऑफ द कैंडल गोज ऑफ. Now we know that why the flame goes off, because the oxygen supply is cut. Okay, this thing we know, but with the help of this experiment we are going to learn one thing new, and that is we will find that the water rises in the jar. Means you can see here that in the first diagram the water level inside the jar and outside the jar is same, but if you will focus in the second jar, you will find that the water level in the beaker is less and the water level inside the jar which has covered the candle is increases. You can see here it is more than 1 and it is written that rise of water level inside the glass jar. So what we have seen that as we have burned the candle, the level of water increases inside the jar which has covered the candle, and the jar and the beaker which was outside the jar, the level of water decreases there. जिसमें हमने कैंडल को कवर किया था उसमें वाटर का लेवल बढ़ गया और जो उससे बाहर का बीकर था उसमें वाटर लेवल कम हो गया. This we have seen. Now why this happens? So beta, this happens because the candle burns till it consumes the oxygen present in the jar. Now as soon as the oxygen is cut, then its place is occupied by the water, and that's why the water level rises inside the jar.
So students, I hope you all have gone through the given experiment and now you all are getting that yes, air is used in burning. As I have shown you in the experiment, air is used in burning. Now student, next thing that we are going to discuss in today's class is like some properties of air. Like we can say that air occupies space. One more property of air we have, that is air occupies space. Okay, what I have written, air occupies space. So student, as I said air occupies space, then air is in your surrounding. It means it also needs some space there. So how we will come to know that air needs space or air occupies space? So student, for as I am telling you, air occupies space. This is the property of air, that it occupies space. So beta, now we are going to see an experiment which will prove that yes, air occupies space. I am going to show you through an experiment that how air is filled, and yes, it takes some space. Let's go through the experiment to see that how air occupies space, or space is occupied by the air or not.
So students, let's start the activity to show that yes, air occupies space. What we have to do in this activity, that you have to take two different containers where you will fill water, and sufficient amount of water should be filled in two containers. Then we will take a glass. What we have to do now, we have to push the glass upside down into the water, as you can see in image number 1. The image in which you can see that glass is pressed down upside down in a straight manner. Then you will find that water does not enter into the glass. So why this is happening? Why we are not able to push this glass inside the water, and why water is not entering into the glass? Do you know why these all things happening? Now you can see in second case, as we have tilted the glass, so the bubbles are originating from there, and these bubbles air start coming out of the glass and water starts entering into it. Why it is so? It is so because the empty glass is actually not empty. It is not really empty. It contains air. So when we are when we are pushing glass upside down, due to the filled air, water cannot enter into the glass because the space is occupied by the air. But in second case, as we have tilted the glass, then air starts coming out in the form of a bubble, as you can see in figure number 2. So as bubbles come out, air has start escaping and then space occur inside the glass, due to which water starts entering into the glass. So in this way we can say that yes, air occupies space.
So students, after going through this experiment, now I hope that you all are getting that yes, air also needs some space and yes, it occupies space. Now, the another property of the air that we are going to discuss here is air is used to inflate things. Air is used to inflate things. Inflate things means when we fill air in some items. Air is used to inflate things. What I said? Air is used to inflate things. Inflate things means air is used to inflate things. So inflate things means when we fill air in different items, when we fill air in different items, they get shape up. So that is called the inflate. So air is required to inflate things. For example, suppose there is a tire. So we fill air there, we inflate air there, and then it helps in the proper movement of the vehicles. Similarly, you have seen football. Actually, football becomes like a ball, or it looks like a ball only after inflating air in it. Either it is just a material, it is just a rubber material. When it is empty, it is just a rubber material. When you are filling air in it, then it becomes a football. So like this, air helps in many ways. When we inflate the air in the items, these items got shape up and we use them very nicely. So see what is given here. Since air occupies a space, it can be filled into the balloons, bladders, tires, etc. When we blow air into a balloon, it grows in size and gets inflated. जब हम balloon में air डालते हैं क्या होता है? It grows in size and get inflated. We fill air in the football with the help of a football pump. It becomes inflated and hard. It becomes inflated and hard. This property of air is very useful for inflating tires of cycles, scooters, cars and other vehicles. Inflated means जैसे आपने बलून है, बलून में एयर फिल कर दी, वो इन्फ्लेट हो जाता है, वो पूरा फुल के तैयार हो जाता है. तो दैट इज द मीनिंग ऑफ इन्फ्लेट वर्ड हियर. So by filling air, as we know that air occupies space. This we have seen from the previous experiment that yes, air needs space and air occupies space. It becomes inflated and hard. This property of air is very useful. Now let's see another property of air, and it is air has weight. Air has weight. Let's see another property of air, and that is air has weight. Now in general language, students, we say that air is very light, or we do not think that even air can have weight. But actually students, air has weight. So how we will come to know that air has weight? Means then, for say, as we are saying air has weight, okay, we accept this that air has weight. But then how we will come to know? So to show you that yes, air has weight, I am going to show you an experiment. So let's go through this experiment to understand that yes, air has weight.
So students, now it's time to start an activity related to the air has weight. Now you can see in this activity the material that we need is one stick, two threads, two balloons. Now what we have to do students here, that we have to take a stick and two equal threads and then two balloons in which we are going to inflate air in such a manner that both the balloons should become of equal size. Now tie the balloons at the end of the rod or stick with strings of equal size. Strings means you can also say a thread of equal size. Now you have to hold the rod in your hands at its center. So we are going to hold the rod after tying a balloon of equal size. Then we have to hold a stick from center. Now what we have to do, we have to move the balloons along the rod till it is balanced, because both the balloons are filled. So now we have to shift them in a rod in such a manner that rod must come in a balanced position. As we have hold a rod from its center, so we have to adjust a balloon in such a manner that rod must become balanced. Now as we have shifted balloon, as we have arranged balloon in a manner that rod must become straight and balanced, then what we have to do now, we have to take a pin, and with the sharp pin we have to prick a balloon. Only a one balloon we will use, means we have to prick a balloon and only one balloon we will prick. And what will happen, as soon as we have pricked the balloon, the air will get escapes from balloon. Now when air is escaped from the balloon, so what will happen, the stick or the rod which was prior in a balanced form, the balance of the rod will get disturbed, and because the as we have pricked the balloon, air got escapes, and due to which there is a change in the weight, and due to this the side which has an inflated balloon is of more weight, and the rod will get tilted downside from the area where filled balloon or inflated balloon is there, whereas in the other side where we have pricked the balloon, that side due to the light weight just will goes up. So what why this all things are happening here? So see beta, the rod does not remain balanced when air from one balloon has escaped. The side of the rod with inflated balloon tilts down and the other end goes up, and this shows that the air has weight and the balloon containing air is heavier. That's why the filled balloon side of the rod tilts down and the other from which air has escaped, that side goes up. This experiment shows us that yes, air has weight.
Student, after going through these experiments, now you all are getting that. I hope that you all are getting that air has weight. After going through this experiment, now the confusion related to the weight of air is cleared, and now if anybody asks to you that do air have weight, so your answer should be yes, and with confidence that yes, air has weight. And you can say like this that yes, I can show you. As I have shown you in the experiment of balloon, you can show this thing in other items also to prove that air has weight. So student, in today's class, here we have discussed some things related to air. Like first thing I told you that oxygen needs for burning. Without oxygen we cannot burn anything. Then I have told you a part of air is used at the time of burning or combustion, as burning is also called combustion. So the part of air is used at the time of combustion or burning. Then I have told you some properties of the air with experiment. So what was the first property? That air occupies space. Then second property that we have discussed here is air is used to inflate things. What we have discussed, that air is used to inflate things. Third property students that we have discussed today is air has weight. So here I have tried to explain you all these properties through an experiment, and I hope that when you will go through this video properly, you will get each and every property of the air very nicely. So student, I hope the things that I have explained you today, you all are getting that. I hope you all will like this video. Thank you and have a nice day ahead.